Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
What's the deal with your little robotic introduction this morning?
I sound like a robot. Don't you know that's my normal voice?
Abbreviated and dramatic.
Oh, love it.
It's been quite a week, hasn't it, Andrew?
Yeah.
And it's only Wednesday.
I know. I wouldn't be surprised if my voice is coming through in Greek at this point.
That's what I'm currently looking at with all of this cost analysis for the RFP. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I feel like it should be Latin. I'm looking at it. I made a spreadsheet. I have my calculator, and I still do not know what it means.
And this is actually not me. This is a hologram.
Right. This is a virtual representation of Scott Hall.
Yes.
A deep fake. A deep
Deep
fake.
fake. Yeah, deep fake. Yeah.
Yeah, and Scott, I actually had you picked out as a deep fake. I don't know.
Yeah. It's hard to put it past people. Yeah.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Morning.
Hey, guys. Oh, it looks like everybody's in a fine humor this morning.
Yes. We're all here. We're live. We're recording. The meeting can begin.
All right. Well, why don't we call our meeting to order then? If the record could, or the minutes could please reflect that all commissioners are present. And we have minutes from our last meeting. Are there any questions or changes to those?
I reviewed those minutes and would make a motion to accept as presented.
Thank you, Judge.
I will second that.
All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Minutes are approved. Scott, we'll just move right on through your agenda. I know everybody's got things to do today. I know the judge and I have somewhere that we have to be later this morning. Item 4, COLA.
Yes, in a couple of weeks, the COLA Fall Conference will be in full swing in Lexington. We are requesting permission due to the close proximity that we close the office for those 3 days so that all staff can attend the annual tax training just due to the fact we don't have to pay for hotel rooms, all the meals are provided, minimum mileage. It's a great opportunity when it's that close.
I think that's a great idea. Is there a motion for that?
Make a motion.
Thank you, Billy.
Just one question. You close the office. Will anybody take messages or?
Yes, we'll the voicemail will go to a mailbox, and of course we'll put a sign on the door. We also post it on our website, and we blast it out through our social media as well.
We've got a motion. I'll second that motion then.
Great. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 And any opposed? There you go, Scott. You all should go to that training.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It will be a good one this year. KLC is later in the month. It's the 20th through the 23rd. It is in Owensboro this year. I know Mayor, you and Andrew are also going to be there, as well as Devin. So because of Local Leader Academy, I need to be there more than I normally would. Normally I just go Wednesday and Thursday, but I'm pretty much going to be there the whole week. So I will be out of the office that week. Now, in years past, I think KLC has moved this back a week. It would conflict, but it will not. Our commissioners meeting will be the following week. So I don't think we have any need. And years past, we've either canceled that or moved it. I don't think that's going to be required this year.
Good. Scott, are you still on the KLC big board?
Yes, sir. So I'm on the board of directors, and then also the additional thing this year is the Local Leader Academy. So there's some additional events that I'll be attending in accordance with that.
Okay. Are you on the KLC board as a result of your presidency of COLA?
No, not my presidency. My presidency was just 2019. I'm elected. It's a COLA seat on the KLC board, and the COLA membership every 2 years votes on who they want to be on the KLC board. So
Good.
that I've been on 4 years, so I'm up for another 2 years. So we will be dealing with that in COLA in 2 weeks and see if they want someone else or want me to continue.
Okay, I think it's helpful for you to be there. When Andrew was head of the Municipal Attorneys Association, he was an ex officio member of that same board.
Yes,
So it's good for us.
it
Same
is.
way, judge is active in CAECO and those pay dividends.
Absolutely. And it's for nothing else to keep an eye on the legislation. It really keeps our ear to the ground on those issues.
Good, thank you.
The next item here is just a verbal update on the lockbox RFP. We did complete the last of the demos last week, and we are moving on to the scoring phase. So nothing really new to report on that other than we are moving forward.
Good. Still excited about that outcome. It's a giant step forward for your agency.
Yes, some of the demos were very impressive. So now we're just trying to get a handle on the cost between the three bidders and get the scoring completed.
Good, thank you.
Next item here is just again a verbal update. The auditors are on site this week. In fact, they're in our conference room as we speak, so that's going very well. Next item, number 8, DHS CISA. Just an update here. We have scheduled our external vulnerability scanning for next month on the 14th. We will be able to take advantage of some services here that are no cost to the Revenue Commission because we are one of the 17 critical infrastructures, government facility. So the Cybersecurity Infrastructure and Security Agency, which is a division of DHS, is a part of that. So we're already signed up and got the paperwork in and moving forward. Now, some of the more elaborate testing typically done with a risk assessment, there's a 12 to 18 month backlog on some of those, but we're on the list, and it sure beats what we'd have to pay an outside vendor, which would probably be between 15 and 20 grand.
Yeah, good news. Any questions for Scott on that? Thank you, Scott. We'll roll on.
Roll on to the general discussion. So no new projects in July for either the KEDFA or the BSSC side of those reports. I do have the financial incentive report. Again, no changes here, but we have made the June payment. Any questions on the tax incentives?
No, just so everybody will know, we have a Scott United meeting today where we'll be reviewing, I think, Judge, in greater detail our strategic plan and how we coordinate with the region's strategic plan. And we're getting on a path to spending some of this money, Scott.
Oh, good. Good.
That's
your
correct.
impression?
Yes, sir.
So the next bullet point here is the work from home refund impact. I promised this to you last month, and this actually turned out to be pretty interesting. So at the top, we have the background here, which is all the refunds. So for the fiscal year that just ended, we issued 472 refunds totaling $671,000. That's an average of $1,400 plus for per refund. The same time frame last year, we were at 437 refunds, $527,000, and an average of $1,200 per refund. So there is an increase over last fiscal year by 35 refunds, an increase of an additional $144,000 in refunds issued, and the average refund cost per refund was increased by $216.32. So that's to just kind of set the table as far as where we are in total refund. Any questions on that piece before I move on to the work from home? Okay. So then down here, the work from home analysis I did, out of those 472 refunds, 115 of them had a work from home component. So that's 24% of all refunds had at least some work from home components. So in other words, the vast majority, 76%, did not. The total work from home impact, I ran the calculations on the refunds based on the percentage of work from home, and the total work from home impact this year was $199,000. You can see the city's impact, the county's impact, and of course there is no school board impact, because if they're working from home and home is Scott County, they're paying school board tax. So That is the impact. Now, when you break it down by the ranges here, this is where I found it to be interesting. The work from home component range was anywhere from 2 to 100%. So you can see there were 7 in the 2 to 9% range, 3 in the 10 to 19% range, and et cetera. And then I broke down the percentages of how much each of those ranges was of the 115. So coincidentally, the largest number is 28%, which is 28 quantity that were 100% work from home. They work from home full time, but coincidentally, that's also 24%. It's 24% of the total 115 refunds. So I guess if you want to make it high level, 24% of all the refunds we issued had a work from home component, but only 24% of those 115 were people working from home full time.
You went through the minutes. No.
That's really interesting data, Scott. We're gonna have to think about that just a little bit, but what great value for a baseline number that we can now track from.
Yes, and that was the purpose of this, to create a baseline, because I wasn't tracking this in prior years, so there's no way to go back and say, okay, well, we probably had some people working from home before COVID, but I don't know to what extent. But it looks like the vast majority, 76%, do not have a work from home component. They're working someplace else, but it's not from home. And the vast majority, even within the 115 that have a work from home component, the vast majority of them are not working full time. Now, some of them are working pretty close, 60, 70, 80, 90%, but that's how it shakes out.
If we think trends are going to continue the way they are, these numbers are going to become real important for us to track.
I think so. And I'm, of course, we've already started the new fiscal year, so I'm continuing to track it. This time of year is not a big year for these employee refunds. And I think we've only had one since July 1. So, most of these come, the early part of next year. So, and while we're on the subject, one of the things I did also attach this week was this work paper from the National Bureau of Economic Research. It's 18 pages. A lot of economists speak in there, but the takeaways of this, I kind of teased this last week as well, was based on the data now, this remote work is here to stay, as it continues to be mutually beneficial for the employers and the employees. I mean, the benefits to the employees are obvious. Some attempts to try to get people back in the office have been met with less than enthusiastic response from the employees. I know my wife's employer, my wife's former employer, she recently retired. They tried to set a hard date for everybody to come back in the office, and so many people literally just quit that they pull back on that. So, but the employers are also seeing a benefit as well. They're looking at their balance sheets, and their overhead costs have plummeted. So they're seeing some benefits as well. So a lot of moving parts to this. I thought you might find it interesting. Wanted to share it with you. And of course, it's an evolving scenario. And when we initially started and saw this in 2020, the economist from Murray State told me, we thought it was transitory. Well, clearly that's not the case. But now we've got some recessionary pressures coming on, but then the workforce participation rate also remains very low. So when they start raising the interest rates to try to get inflation under control, usually you see layoffs. You start to see unemployment tick up. But with the workforce participation rate and all the struggles people have finding workers, that may not be something we'll see this time. So it's somewhat in uncharted territory. And as Chris, the economist, told me, he said these observations are often set in jello. But as of this report in July, it's looking like this is something we're going to be dealing with in the long term.
Interesting. This type of study and information, Scott, is helpful to us not only as revenue commissioners, but in our day jobs as well. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I've also had some email back and forth with Jack at the chamber on this, and I'm going to be sharing this with him. Chris gave me permission to share it with whoever might find it beneficial and of value. So I'll be sharing it with Jack as well. And this NBER, by the way, if you're not familiar with them, if you've noticed any of the last few weeks, a lot of the news reports and the wailing of gnashing of teeth, or are we in a recession? Are we not in a recession? Then the NBER is kind of the gold standard for that kind of data. And in a lot of the news reports, they reference them and some of the reports they put out. So it's a pretty good group that gives this type of information. And also, Chris, he was very generous with his time. He also said, if at any time, we have some issues, we'd like him to come. He would be happy to join us on the Zoom call and talk to us about this, or we could have a separate meeting or something. So, that's what he does, is this kind of stuff for folks in the Commonwealth. So,
Good, thank you.
let's see what else we have here. The monthly tax collection stats for July. This is way down. Don't be alarmed. This is one of these months where July we had no Toyota payroll come in. So we've already had 2 Toyota payrolls come in August. So August is going to be way, way up. So month over month, this doesn't really tell us much. So we'll take another look at that, maybe balance July and August together and see where we're starting off the new fiscal year.
That would be, Scott, if you'd do that, that'd make me feel better.
Yeah.
When I read that, I got a lump in my gut. I said, oh, Lord.
No, this is one of those 4 months where we don't get any Toyota payroll payments coming in due to the end of the quarter. So no, it will bounce back. And like I said, we've already gotten both Toyota payments. The one we should have got last month and the one we got this month. So now we're going to have a huge spike up in August. So no, don't break out the roll age just yet.
Taken in a void, Judge, that certainly got your attention, didn't it?
Yeah, no doubt. If I had hair, it would be standing up on the back of my neck, but I don't have hair. So.
Let's see here. Where are we going now? Okay. The quarterly collection stats, the final update with detail. I promised you this last week as well. So those numbers that I gave you last week, the quarterly, they're aggregate. I wanted to give you more of a breakdown. I didn't see any value in doing it by the quarter, so I did it by the month. So here's what we collected, and then here's the breakout for July. This net profit taxes, net profit P&I, payroll P&I. Also the same for the county and the school board. And of course, the only city has the regulatory fees, which are something extra. But other than that, the city, county, and school board breakdowns are the same. So you've kind of got a sense of that 48.4 million that came in, when your part of it came in, how much of it was in this month, and how much of it was net profit, how much was payroll, how much was net profit penalty and interest, how much was payroll penalty and interest. So don't know if that may help you in terms of your cash flow or your budgeting with your respective finance directors, but I wanted to give you more detail than just, hey, we were up this month for the year or for the quarter.
I think that's helpful information, and I know our finance directors will really appreciate it.
Any questions on that? Hearing none, we'll go back over here. For the new accounts, July was a good month. We had 150 new businesses register with us, but only 16 closed, and that compares to 71 and 50 for July of last year. So the total numbers here at the top, we're currently sitting at 763 new accounts, 541 closed. Of course, as we've talked about many times, that's the cleanup project we were involved in. But for this calendar year, we're currently averaging 109 new accounts for the first 7 months. So if that trend holds up for the rest of the year, we're on track to be well over 1,000 again, new accounts registered with us this year.
Scott,
Yeah,
what's the total number of? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mayor.
Judge, I was going to give you the floor because you get to use these numbers first next month.
Mayor, you read my mind. Scott, on September 12th, and Jessica, I have to give a state of the county, and just being able to say, a trend over the last 3 years, where we've been and, where we stand, and then like a total number of accounts. That was what I was going to ask about, total number of accounts. And then, it would probably be a good, you tell me, Mayor, it'd be good to, would you go as deep as talking about aggregate collections over the last 3 years?
Oh, I think we can, this is a great story, Judge, and people need to hear, you ought to get to tell it. I know the Revenue
Yeah.
Commission's a success story for us, and this is success.
No, there's no question. And I don't want to have death by PowerPoint. I'm going to try my best not to go long. But it would be good to just give a brief, this is where we're at currently, total number of accounts. 3 years ago we had this many accounts, that kind of stuff. I'll reach out to you, Scott, or Jessica, and maybe we can pull something together real quick.
Yeah, we can do that. Absolutely.
And then Judge, whatever you do, I'll play off of it the next month.
No, and it'd just be a highlight. I'm like you, the work that the Revenue Commission's doing is a big benefit to our community.
So you want a 3-year look back?
Yeah, just like, if we could see where our trends were for the last 3 years, on yearly collections, and then how our businesses have ebbed and flowed over the last 3 years.
Okay.
That'd be great. And then if you'll just share that with the mayor too.
Well,
Is there
Jessica and I'll get together. We'll put something together and we'll send it to both of you, and then we can tweak it from there. We'll start with a baseline, and then whatever you want to add or delete from it, we'll just kind of go from there.
That'd be great. Much appreciated.
Sure, absolutely. That's what we're here for. Any other questions about the accounts?
Yes, sir.
Hearing none. That takes care of the general discussion. Let me make sure I haven't missed anything here. You got your breakdowns. Bear with me here, a little operator error. Get the quarterly stats. I think that's it. Jessica, did I miss anything?
Nope, I think that's it. I know it's just sort of a general discussion that we hope to, in October, I believe is what we just said, bring forth the regulations. We're kind of still working on some last minute things for those, but that will be coming very shortly. That's the only thing I would add just as a general topic.
Yes, on a parallel track, we continue to move forward on that as well. And it's so important. We don't want to rush it. So we're going to really tweak it and have it very ready to bring to you all when the time is right.
Good.
That's going to be another big step for us.
I can report to the other commissioners that I do occasionally catch Andrew and Scott and Andrew and Jessica in meetings. So they work on this stuff when we're not together.
Quite a bit. Yeah.
So, well, that's good, Scott. Billy, you got anything else for the good of the order today?
No, sir. We just kind of off topic from revenue necessarily. We everyone reports just an incredible start to the school year. Multiple people have said, in their 20 plus years of education, this has been, one of the best, if not the best start of school for them. So we hope to keep the momentum going. Unfortunately, I have heard from some school districts this morning, had a meeting with Central Kentucky superintendents on Zoom, and they're seeing an uptick in absences. And so fingers crossed, but looks like maybe we'll have a little wave that hits us here in the next few weeks. So we will see, but everybody is, again, hopeful and optimistic with the start of this wonderful year. So.
Yeah, on that note, Superintendent Eric Kennedy from the Kentucky School Board Association is one of our regular presenters at COLA, and he will be there in September. So we're anxious to hear from him. He's always a great wealth of knowledge for us.
Yeah, Eric's a star. He's a great guy. Yeah, he's a great
Absolutely.
guy.
We love to hear from him.
Yep.
Billy, our total enrollment, just curious, Trendon, I know you got day, what?
We're on today's day 6, and I don't have today's information, but I do have up to yesterday. So last year, we were at 9,363 roughly. And that was like mid-January. That was kind of a point in time that I looked at when we were talking about allocating staff for this coming year. As of yesterday, we were 9,555. And of that, 94 of those students were students who hadn't been in Scott County schools last year that are participating in our online learning academy. So we've seen the benefit of that. We've got, I believe, a little over 10 people that have chosen to come to Scott County from other districts, and they're paying a $500 fee to be a part of our online learning academy. And in a lot of cases, it's where maybe they were in communities that had that last year and aren't having that this year. So that's certainly a positive. These numbers this year should give us a basis for next year. And my only concerns that I have are, one, if we do in fact see attendance not at its historical rates because of COVID, then essentially the extra $100 per student that we got in SEEK funding is essentially all for naught, because everybody's dealing with one more reason kids will be missing school and attendance numbers will be down. So we'll see how it all unfolds, but certainly again, they just keep coming. So
It's good information, and appreciate all the work you're doing. And it's fantastic news that things have gotten off to a good start. And
yeah, I will say, Joe Pat, I have used, the work that's come in terms of the broadband for our push for 1-to-1, because, we have had a fee with that, and that hasn't been met with widespread approval. And I hope we can get to a point where we can find a way to mitigate the cost of that fee internally. We weren't there this year, but we wanted to make sure we had a self-sustaining solution in place for this, because I was shocked to talk to some districts that really didn't have a plan. They've been just kind of limping along their 1-to-1 initiative through COVID funds, and not sure what they're going to do when that runs out. So,
along those lines, Charter Spectrum is working diligently to get construction started, and I wonder how we account for that work being done in our county. That's something they should register. They're not already registered, those construction groups. I don't know if they're independent contractors or if they're actually charter employees. I'll check with Ben Ucelis, who's my contact. Jessica, would you have any advice for me to give him?
Well, I would say that Charter has registered, and they do have a payroll account, and they provided a list of subcontractors that was given to our staff to pursue those to make sure that they get registered.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah.
And then last, I won't bore you all, but we accepted a $3 million grant from the NTIA, and part of that is quite a bit of documentation and such. And one of the pieces, Billy and Mayor and everyone else, is that you have to do a tribal lands notification of the project. And you have to have a 30-day period for any tribe. You have to put a notice out, and then for any tribe across the United States to, say, hey, that might be impinging on our tribal lands. Well, this project's 98% aerial on existing poles, and it's just evidence of government bureaucracy that makes you go nuts. But that's going to hold us up for like 30 more days. And there's also a SHPO, a State Historic Preservation Office, a piece of documentation, but I think we're pretty good on that one. But just to let you know that we've hit a little bit of a bump, but we are working as hard as we can.
The new Scott County High School project hit that bump and others. So I can commiserate with you on that.
Oh,
And just a side note, Superintendent, my wife and I saw you on the Newsmaker show prior to the start of the school year, and I just want to say well done. We both learned a lot about the operations and what's going on, and that was very well done.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, good opportunity, Billy. Also for the judge and superintendent, we had traded text, but we've gotten really good traction from our boomerang conversation, whiplash conversation that we had with District 7 transportation officials concerning Cardinal Drive and the potential roundabout. If you'll recall at that meeting, they had said the best possible outcome would be if we could look at these projects outside of the 6-year road plan and under that separate pool of money that they called SS something. Judge, you may recall the initials. I don't know.
is it the highway safety HSIP?
I think that's it.
Yeah.
It's completely separate pool of money from the 6-year road plan. And they actually have convinced those folks that the roundabout would be an appropriate project for that funding. And they're looking at it real hard. The potential that if it looks like we will get some additional funding for Cardinal Drive. So that improvement's going to happen, and we want it to happen next summer. But boy, if we could go after a really busy summer of Cardinal Drive and a roundabout, it'd be a home run summer.
That'd be awesome. I think it's a great opportunity for that roundabout, and also, I think we can improve the entrance to Scott County Park as well.
Well, Judge, you all will be part of the key because county owns 3 of the 4 quadrants in the intersection that we're looking at.
I'll be glad to help. I think it's a long time, an improvement at that intersection is a long time needed.
Yeah, lots of good stuff going on. Scott, sorry to hijack your meeting, but it's a great chance for Billy and Judge to share some of this information.
No, it's great. We finished early. It's just now 10:32, so no, we're doing well, and I'm learning a lot.
Good. Judge, anything else today?
If there's nothing else, I'll be happy to make a motion to adjourn.
All right.
I will second that motion.
Good. All in favor say aye. And
Aye.
Jessica, Scott, thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you.
Jessica,
We'll be in
Scott,
touch.
thank you all. Good job.
Thank you.